Good afternoon. How are you doing today? Well, it's pleasant out. It's very still, no wind. And I spent most of the day working on some cases for clients. As a trial lawyer, I, uh, I expect a different kind of presentation than I think we're going to see on June the 9th, tomorrow, with the January 6th committee. Now, going back to Watergate. In Watergate, witnesses were called and things were discovered at the hearing based on questions asked at the hearing. I've mentioned on the air Butterfield, for one example, who was a reluctant witness and who did appear. And during his testimony, he told us about the taping mechanism that was present in the White House, which became a big deal because it confirmed, in a way that could not be denied, the perfidy, if you will, of the presidency of Richard Milhous Nixon. Now, but we're not going to do that tomorrow. And that is more like what a trial lawyer does. That is, you sit there and you ask questions. It was Edward Bennett Williams said that the most important asset for a trial lawyer is to have a steel butt. And that's because you have to sit so long to review information, if you're a good lawyer, and allow it to become part of your constitutional makeup. So you see links and connections and possible lines of question, and then finally conclusions that are based on the evidence. But we're going to have instead some kind of show tomorrow, and it's going to be strange, it seems to me, as a presentation for that reason. Now, we've already seen variations of this in the impeachments. A witness didn't come into the well of the Senate, sit there, was asked questions and answered them, and then was asked by the other side. So what are we going to actually be seeing tomorrow? Well, in a way, it's going to be a show. In a way, it's going to be a statement, a disclosure, a combination of sound and fury, signifying a great deal. And how is that going to go over? Well, some networks are not going to cover it. Fox, of course. I think they're going to play the flower show in the East Hamptons. I'm joking. I have no idea what they're going to do, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to cover the hearing. And the reason is because they believe the hearing is going to have a tremendous effect in America. And unlike a lot of public issues, we have the reference points for this story. So details that flush out who is doing what when, if that's their objective, could be pretty powerful. And starting at 8 o'clock, we'll see how it goes. And I may or may not be involved because the show I'd appear on is, of course, Ari. I mean, there are other possibilities, but I prefer to be with Ari. And his show goes on at 6, so it's before it. So we would be opining on what we think is going to happen at the hearing. I think it's important. But because there's an equivalence about what it is and what it could be and what it will do, the question remains, will they come out and say, as I was asked the other evening on Ari's show, this guy's committed crimes, we have to do something about it, wake up Department of Justice. Now, Zoe Lofgren, whom I respect a great deal, I don't know if she was signaling for the entire committee, but some time ago she said, we don't have anything to do with referrals. Well, if you don't have anything to do with referrals, and I'm not questioning that that's their objective, and you can't introduce legislation that will pass the Senate, what are you doing? And the remainder is you're making a strong statement that becomes part of the midterm elections, and you're asking America, are you going to support these autocrats, these people who believe in monarchy, who would take over our government and violate the law? Or are you going to seek to restore the republic, which we began doing when Biden replaced Trump in the Oval Office? So that's the way I see that panning out. And I'm very hopeful that the presentations, though not a trial lawyer's type or preference, are going to be to the point and effective. And that's why some people are not going to show it like, oh, Fox TV. Now, in the House today, there were hearings about the guns. What are we going to do about guns? And some people, they didn't take me to task, but they disagreed, and they thought McConaughey, who is, in my opinion, a fabulous actor, made a statement about his old town and how gross and terrible it was that these children were reduced to, well, nothing but perhaps recognizable clothing that they wore. And I'm 100% with him about that. But as I've said to some people, there are two parts of this gun debate. One part is the empathy, the sympathy, the caring, as should be the case for everyone, Democrat and Republican. But the second part is the remedy, and where I took issue with, well, not just, I don't want to make this just about McConnachie, but where I take issue with him and Murphy is to have really no gun control in the sense of effective gun control. What do I mean by that? Not McConnachie, not Murphy. They don't support a ban on assault weapons. Everybody goes around saying, I'm not going to take your guns away. Why don't you say that? That is what this is about, because nothing else will be effective. And when we had a ban on assault weapons, it was effective. And these kinds of disastrous things didn't happen. But we let it sunset. And that means go out of effect. And I believe it's 2004. So since that time, you can go get an assault weapon. I'm not encouraged that increasing the age when they can get these guns at, open sales at gun shows is going to make any difference. Or they get somebody else to buy it for them and they use it. I mean, we want effective gun control. We want to reduce the magazines. McConnachie's not for that. Neither is Murphy. So I don't take full with McConnachie, who's not a public representative and apparently doesn't agree that we have to go that far. But I believe we do. I think everything else is short-selling those people who are in the worst times of grief, taking them apart, dealing with it. And the Republicans are, well, craven. If we just get past this mourning, past this grieving, we'll be okay. It'll be over. Now, they don't say that aloud, but that's what they're doing. That is the effect. So we have two big things on the horizon, and this is without talking about Roe v. Wade. One, we have the hearings tomorrow that I'm hopeful will be a blockbuster despite the kind of concise form they have to present. If you will, it's an audio-visual preview of the report they're going to file later. Secondly, we have the question of guns. And the question of guns reduces to, are we going to do anything that's effective? And you know the answer? No, we're not. We're not. We're going to wait out the people who are grieving and suffering, and those like you and I who think this has gone on long enough. This is not America. This is not who we are. We are supposed to be a country of laws and the Constitution and good order and respect for each other and equality. And we're not. And we have to change that because it will destroy us as a democracy and will make us, well, subject to these evil forces that prefer a monarchy or autocracy, issuing by fiat, things that don't recognize the values that this country has fought so long for, that people have paid for in blood and fortune. So that's where I am today. Holly and I got out and we managed to get a fraction of an hour together with my daughter, whom I haven't seen often and didn't see at all while we were dealing with the hospital visits. So it's good to be out, even though it's muggy and a little warm. And let's hope that Congress figures out how to show that they're worthy, to show that they mean something. I've heard congressmen that I respect say that, well, they have hope. They continue to have hope. Why have hope about Republicans? Why not call them out? Why not say what's true? And some are doing that, and that's what we should all do. Do not vote for any Republican for any office, however menial it may be across America, and make a difference on Election Day. That's the last I have today, and I'm in my cathedral, so you have to take it as the word of nature. Bye-bye.